Hello everyone, and welcome to my escape. Today, we're in the kitchen, which is not normally where I do book stuff, but as you see, I'm staying on brand. Okay, I've got my book stuff here, but Vlogmas has started, and although I would love to participate and create content for you guys every day, I do not have the time. Between finishing the semester up and exams and projects and all this other fun stuff, I just simply cannot produce a video every week. But with that said, I did kind of want to participate and have like the Vlogmas experience. So that's the style we're going to do this video in. We're going to go through my December TBR. We'll come back to why I'm making this video while I make cookies. While I go get the supplies, because I got my books out, but I got nothing for cookie making out before I started. Why don't you leave a like, comment, and subscribe? I post videos every Friday, sometimes on Tuesdays when I'm feeling it, so ring that bell for notifications and you won't miss anything. And be back in 1 minute. Okay, I'm back, and I have my cookie bin. My kitchen is very empty because I hate being in here and I hate cooking, so I don't do a whole lot. What I do like to make is cookies, hence why the only ingredients I own are to make cookies, and they all live in this cup. They're called Maryland chocolate chip cookies, to give credit where credit's due. Whoever Maryland is out there, delicious, they're my favorite. Okay, we're making cookies because tonight I have a Christmas party and it's potluck, so everyone's supposed to bring everything, and as I said, I don't cook. So as this is the only thing I can confidently make, this is what we'll be making for them. Also, it's a white elephant thing, so I had to go get a gift. And while I was getting a gift, I found this, and I've been obsessed with it for days. Okay, so basically what today's video, book-wise, is gonna be is December TBR. And you might be saying, why are you doing this? You say in every video how much you hate TBRs. You just made an October TBR, which you epically failed at. Those are all valid and exceptional questions. However, here we are. I'm doing a December TBR because at the beginning of the year, I said, you know what I hate on Goodreads when it says currently reading 13 books, because am I truly currently reading 13 books? No. Okay, that's not the way I read, that's not the way I consume books. Normally, it's like, I don't know, maybe I'll have 2 or 3 going on at the same time, but really, I generally have one book, one focus, and I read it in like 2 to 3 days, normally, iffy, and then I move on, okay? And it doesn't mean books bad, it just means either I ran out of time or, I don't know, my library maybe expired on me, or there's a lot of reasons. We'll go through the reasons. But I set a goal saying I want everything off my currently readings list by the end of 2023. And when I said that, I had anticipated not adding to it. And I just figured I wouldn't input them into Goodreads anymore in 2023 if I was currently reading them, because I know how much I hate it sitting there. But alas, I did. So the goal was, at the beginning of the year, I had 12 on my currently reading list, and the goal was to read 1 a month, and then, you know, mathing, I would have none by the end of the year, right? We love that, we love it. But then I kept adding to it. So now it's December, and I still want to attain that goal. Okay, I'm still kind of set on it. Which means there are 13 books that I need to read in December, which is higher than my monthly average, and also one of the busiest months of the year. Already, is this an attainable goal? No, it's not. But we're gonna do it anyways, because I want to. We're gonna aim for 12, the 13th bit, but we'll leave that till the end of the video. So first, I'm gonna go through the 4 left from 2022, because those are the priorities. Then I'm going to get into the other, 9. Oh my god, 9! Anyways, we're gonna do it, we're gonna love it. But essentially, I'm trying to get through 13 books in December, and I'm not allowed to pick up anything I haven't already started. So there's gonna be no Christmas reads for me this year, but that's fine, because I didn't read any last year either, so what does it matter? Before my hands get all buttery again, we're gonna start on book 1. Sky Without Stars. I started this last year. I bought the first and second book hardback, used, as part of this haul, because it sounded so good. It was like sci-fi, way in the future, humans are on a different planet now, there's a big caste system in place, and you follow 3 characters. One of them is like lowest tier of the cast, kind of street savvy, criminal-esque, right? So you follow her, and then you follow this guy who's like a young officer. So he'd be like second caste, but he wants to like support and perpetuate the system, and he's like part of the military. And then you follow a third girl who grew up in like a secret society or something like that. She grew up like underground, so she's not really part of the caste system. And they pretty much all entwine in paths to accomplish this goal to stop or promote a rebellion. I don't really remember. All I remember about this is I was so bored. There's 2 bookmarks in here, I'll explain that later, but I got to 112 pages. I think at page like 80, that was when the 3rd character was introduced. So going into the story, I knew there was 3 characters, but by the time I got to the 3rd character's point of view, I forgot that I was waiting for a 3rd character. I was like, who are you and why should I care? Nothing had happened in those 80 pages. I vividly remember ranting to my dad about this, about how my dad loves sci-fi, so all of my sci-fi rants would go to him, but like, nothing had happened. There had been like a small skirmish in one of the markets that was like half a page, and then the officer basically just ran away from it, and that was it. That was the only action that had occurred. And I'm like, I get the development, but 80 pages and not a single thing has happened? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? No wonder the book is so big. Why? I was not having fun. I was not having fun at all. Put it on my currently reading list. Honestly, I thought I was gonna DNF it. But then, and what kind of gave me the idea for this video, which is why we're starting this one, is I got a new Libby account, so like the app for your library. Got a new account on there, and they had like way more titles, and one of them was audiobook for this, and I said, okay, one thing that I do to get back into books or to get into like really slow books is I listen to the audiobook, because then during the boring things I can be doing other things, and then when it actually gets interesting, like I'm there for it. So I started the audiobook I started the audiobook last week before I decided on this video, and I think I listened to about 10 minutes, and I was like, I'm so bored, and I put it down. And then later in the week I had the idea for this video, so I was like, I'll have to pick that back up. But I was like, oh my god, like this is so boring, the audiobook is not helping, this book is just so boring, I don't want to pick it up. But then I woke up today and I was like, you know what, I have this Christmas party tonight, I have to make cookies, I'm gonna film the video, like I don't want to give up on it before the video's even started, so I'll just start it this morning. That's why there's 2 bookmarks in here, because this is where I started this morning and this is where I am now. So I started, like I said, at 112, page 113, I guess would be the new chapter. And currently I am on 271. So I read like 150-ish pages, or like listened to them, I guess, this morning. Brought me in. Now I'm a little bit more invested. Now I actually want to see where the story goes. Am I dying to know where the story goes? No. But am I going to DNF it at this point? Also no. So the audiobook is a win for now. This is a heavy beast though. This is just under 600 pages. So we'll see. But this is just straight like YA sci-fi, not a lot of romance. And I haven't read sci-fi in a little bit, so I think that's why I'm like willing to stick with it, because I'm like, maybe it's just like a mental, maybe mentally I have to get back into it and give it a chance, like kind of get going. But we're going to see where it goes. This is actually such a terrible video for me to make, because I don't cook, because I don't usually like how it turns out, and my mom says it's because I don't pay enough attention to the recipe, which would make sense, except now I'm splitting my focus like 3 ways, so it's fine, these are gonna turn out fine. Hopefully it's muscle memory at this point. I don't even know why I brought the recipe out, because I really truly to my core should not need it. Book 2 of the 2022 currently reading list that I need to knock off. If you see me adding a little bit more sugar than potentially required, mind your business, okay? Don't ever take cooking advice from me. But moving on, another book is Shadow and the Fox. Now, I have to bake cookies, so I don't want to hold it the whole time. Now I gotta wash my hands again. But anyways, Shadow and the Fox, I picked up in 2022 because I saw it at the store, and it was written by Julia Kagawa, and I love her. She wrote the Iron Fae series, which was like my first introduction to like Fae as in like F-A-E, like fairies as in F-A-E, like the evil, like Shakespearean kind, not like the funny, like whimsical kind. So she was my first introduction to that, and that's a fun series. And then I also read her Blood of Eden series. I haven't finished it though, so no spoilers. It's one of my favorite series ever, but again, I don't finish series. So we'll come back to it, but it's like this vampire trilogy. So she writes YA, like fantasy YA. Anyways, ultimately, she was an author I really liked. I saw this new series, I picked it up, Japanese mythology, Kitsune. Okay, if you ever watch Teen Wolf, that's really where it stems from. It's not any deeper than that. But for me, I love Japanese mythology. I love kitsunes. I love the whole concept of it. Yes, Teen Wolf is where I learned about it, okay? It's fine. It's fine. And when I found out this author had a series with Japanese mythology and with kitsune, I was like, I need to have it. I need to have it right now. I bought it and I brought it home and I was like, oh my god, this is gonna be great. And then I got so bored with it. So 80 pages in. Apparently 80 is my benchmark in my head about, but I'm 80 pages in. This one's not that long. Only 441 pages. It basically just says, like, 1,000 years ago, there was this dragon god summoned, and he was like, whoever holds the scroll of 1,000 prayers, a new wish will be granted and a new age is about to dawn. So then you have our kitsune up in like the hills at this like convent, and then you have the guy who's a samurai. I love samurai, but anyways, he's like a samurai and he's part of the Shadow Clan, and he's like under orders to retrieve this scroll, and he's like a little like boy assassin or something. I don't know. Okay, again, it's YA, so they're like 15 or 16 in it, something like that, which doesn't normally bother me, but I do remember the guy in this was super annoying, and I was like, grow up. And then my brain was like, he's 15. And I was like, okay, well, fine. I guess he can be annoying, but like, I wasn't loving it. I just remember he was really, really, really annoying. And like, there was like this sword that he was like afraid was gonna like leak darkness into his soul. And I'm like, you are a assassin samurai from the Shadow Clan. Get over it. Be dope. And then I was like, maybe how many morally gray men I'm reading about is it impacting my love of YA? So I needed to recenter, and then in recentering, I never came back to it. But this is, again, it's on that list, so I have to read it, and it's another one that's on my updated library as an audio. So once I finish Sky Without Stars, or I'm not going to do them in order, I can mix and match, but this is another one I'm going to try to pick up on audio and see if I can get into it again. And again, you could be like, why are you reading stuff you didn't like? I could just DNF. Yes, I could, but I think a lot of it was the mood I picked these books up in. Like, maybe I was looking, actually Sky Without Stars I just was not enjoying. I really was in the mood for like a sci-fi dystopian at that time. But moving on. Shadow and the Fox, I think I was honestly just looking for something a little faster paced and a little like, we're evil and we love it. And then I got like morals, and I didn't want those. So that's on me, and I don't want to do that. Beat Until Fluffy. That looks fluffy, right? Looks fluffy, fluffy-esque, fluffy adjacent. So the next one is another YA fantasy. Okay, we're really getting back into what I used to read, which makes sense the time I started reading it. But the next one I don't actually have here, I have it at home, which is frankly nice because I actually would like to stop washing my hands every time I touch a book. But it is Rage and Ruin by Jennifer L. Armentrout, and we know I love Jennifer L. Armentrout, so I'm certainly not DNFing this one. Rage and Ruin is the second book in a spin-off series, and I picked up like immediately because I was like, I can't get enough of this world. That's a lie. I could get enough of that world because the spin-off series is exactly the same. It was like basically like reading about the same characters. There was no difference. There was no like otherness or specialness to it, and I really didn't enjoy that at the time. And I have just come to accept that that is how Jennifer L. Armentrout, love her, but that's how she writes her series, okay? Basically, like, she republishes the first draft of the first series as a spin-off series, and you're like, I kind of hate this, but you read it anyways, because you hope it's gonna get better, okay? And I think I only got, like, 30 or 40 pages in, like, I don't think I'm that far into that one. And then I was like, actually, I can't do this. So yeah, it's sitting on my shelf back home. I'll read it when I get home from school, and if I want it, the audio is also on the library, which is pretty good because we're 3 for 3. But that one I'll probably just pick up and read because I don't know. We're gonna give it another chance. I think because it's been like almost 2 years now since I've read the initial series, I won't remember it well enough to really be able to like pick out every similarity. Like, it's to the point where some lines are almost identical series to series. So I'm like, but I think it's because it's almost been 2 years, I won't have the memory to be able to recall those things, so I think it'll bother me less. I think it needs a little bit more flour. Okay, and then the last book that was on my currently reading list for 2022 was actually a Kindle Unlimited book. and I was quite enjoying it at the time. But I actually remember why I put this one down, and it was because my Kindle Unlimited subscription ran out. And fun facts about me, every month I tell myself, I'm not gonna read Kindle Unlimited, I'm gonna read the physical books on my shelf. And then I last a couple days, maybe a week, and then I go, but there's this book that I saw this reel on that I really want to read, so I need KU. So then I go and like go through the whole thing of like renewing my subscription, and then I go and cancel it. Why don't I just pay for it monthly? I don't know, okay? Because I like to be delusional and tell myself that I'm gonna read my physical shelves. But anyways, this one was for a month that I actually lasted like a couple weeks not having KU. And then when I did get back into it, it was because I was dying to read this Mafia romance series. So then I went right into that, and I just never came back to this one. But I'm excited because there's one on this list that I'm excited to get back into because I know I was enjoying it at the time. I don't know if I said the name for this one or not, but it's Really Not Ready. And basically, it's like this girl in the States living her life, like running like a hut or something on like the LA boardwalk. I think she like, I don't know, maybe she's a lifeguard or she does paintings. I don't know. She was like on the LA boardwalk doing some job thing. And this guy in the suit approaches her and he goes, "Hey, you're a princess. Did you know that? The king, your grandpa, wants you to come back to the kingdom because he's sick and your mom died. Now you're the only heir. So you have to come basically learn how to be a princess." And she's like, "Excuse me? Excusez-moi?" So then she goes back with him and then they like go to like this little, think like English. They're not obviously in England. It's like a made-up country, but like think like English countryside to learn how to be a princess before announcing her name and like showing her to the press because she has to have like, I don't know, manners before the public can see her. So she's in the seaside with like 2 bodyguards, this guy in a suit, and her, and she is like your quintessential American loudmouth, just says what she means, very direct, and he's like the quintessential Britishman, like all like manners, like politeness, blah blah blah. So they clash, but there's also a lot of tension, and she really wants to bang him, and he's like, "It's not proper, you're a princess and I am not." And she's like, "Okay, but also you're hot." And yeah. So that is the story from what I know, and it's just a blast, and I remember loving the dialogue and loving the banter and loving her, and that's pretty much it. That one is going to be fun, and it's going to be a nice break from all the YA that's on this list, because if you haven't noticed from the first 3 books that were all YA, it's a lot, okay, it's a lot. Also, fun facts about me, I like the cookie dough more than the chocolate chips. Like, I like the cookie part more than the chocolate chips, so I never put enough chocolate chips in, apparently, is what my family says. So I dump like 3/4 of a bag in this one, because they're for other people. But when I make them for myself, there might be 3 chocolate chips in the entire batter, and I'm like, that's a good amount. The next one on the list is My Killer Vacation, page 33. I made it 33 pages on this before I put it down. I think like ocean beach vibes, but murder mystery rom-com, okay? If you know One for the Money, that movie, I know it's a book by like Janet Evanach or whatever. I know it's a whole series, but I only know the movie. So if you can think of that movie, this is the vibe that I wanted. And I still hope it comes through on it. I was just in a pissy mood, and then I read 30 pages of this after that. And then I was like, okay, I can go about my day, and then I never picked this up again. So I'm not in that mood right now, whatsoever. And murder mystery and beach does not scream December, snow, and summer for me. But it's on the list, so we're gonna read it, I guess. I'm not like, super excited about this one. Damn, I do this every time. I forgot to preheat the oven. Now it's going to be an awkward amount of waiting time for the oven to preheat. Why do I do this every time? Okay, what do we got next on the list? Wreck and Ruin. So I saw a reel for Wreck and Ruin. I think I actually had to buy this book on Kindle. Like, I don't think it's on KU, but it was the first motorcycle romance I tried to read. So like the M, you'll see like MC is the acronym for them. Not main character, which is what I thought it was. It's motorcycle club. So can't say I love the genre, but I can say that I was having fun with the book going in. It just got like boring and repetitive. But essentially there's this girl and she gets pulled into this like world of, you know, a creepy man who's trying to take over the bar and this motorcycle gang and then the motorcycle gang's enemies, and it's a whole thing, okay? There's a lot going on. It is what it is. I do remember like I was really immersed in this in the beginning. I was like, oh my god, I love them. Oh my god, they're so cute. I love death. And then it got like they got together too quickly, and then I was just bored because I'm not really here to see characters happy. I'm here to see the trauma and the growth. I feel like now I can get back into it and finish it because I don't really remember everything, so I can't have the feeling of, oh, this is too much, like too repetitive, or like they're too happy, because it's been a while since I've seen the characters, so who am I to say they're too happy? We'll make that one work. And then the last one that I have that's kind of contemporary, but not really, it's a dark romance. Was I Ever Here? I only started this last month, like at the end of November, like in the last like 2 days or something like that. Also, why was I thinking that November had a 31st day? Because it was gonna be on my wrap up. Like I had already like summarized it and everything, and then I realized that November actually ends on the 30th, so I didn't have time to finish it. So it will be in the December wrap up. But anyways, it's a mafia romance, and it's the first of the Was I Ever Here? So in October, or was it September? I don't know. I read Was I Ever Real? And that was a mafia romance with like cult vibes, and I loved it, and it ended up being like my second favorite mafia romance I've ever read. Literally had so much fun with it. So this is the first in the series, so I went back to read it, and so far I'm kind of bored. I don't really care about the characters as much. There's no like culty vibes because that was like special to the FMC of the other one, so I'm just bored. And there is like a mysticism to it. It is very much like they have reincarnated lives, and the one guy's kind of like remembering her from past lives, and she's like also dealing with like a lot of family trauma, and like I don't know how to say it on YouTube with it being allowed, but sad thoughts, if you get what I'm saying. So there's that in it. It's just like a little bit boring. Like I really don't care about the characters, and I really don't care if they end up together, and like, and yeah, it's not nearly as good as the first one, but again, I'm pretty far into that one and I will be able to finish it. So these are actually like a little sticky, so maybe I should have added more flour, but it is too late now. And now I guess we just hang out until the oven is preheated, because I'm not that smart and I didn't preheat it in advance. I'm gonna go into the fantasy romances and a book I can hold because I have clean hands now. So the first one on the list is Belladonna. I only got this at the end of the summer, and look how pretty it is. My friend convinced me to get this, so it's actually one of the few books I bought this year that's brand new, but like, so worth it. So worth it. I love it. I just, anyways. Basically, it's about this girl who can't die, and there's the personification of death as like a baby held in her mother's arms at this party. Everybody dies but her, and Death comes to collect, and then he's like, why is this child still alive? And then as she kind of like goes throughout life, a lot of people around her die. Death comes to collect and just keeps seeing that this like girl is just living when she shouldn't be. Like she should be dead, and he's dead. He should know. So he's like intrigued and confused. And then the story jumps to her as like a young adult. So she's like 20 or something like that, 21 maybe, and yet another caregiver has died, and she's like, Death, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? Like, stop. Because every time everyone else dies and she should die, she's in this like in-between state where she can like see and talk to him, and he's like, I'm not doing anything, you're the weird one here. I love this description. So yeah, and then she gets like a new caregiver and has to go to this like estate across the country, and she's like, it's gonna be different this time, like it's gonna be different, like nobody's gonna die, but something's going on at the state and it's like very weird. And that's where I am in the book. So I am 70 pages in, and I was really liking it, and I did like the cover, and like I said, like my friend convinced me to get it, and she specifically convinced me to get this edition. So I am excited to get into it again. I just wasn't really in the mood for like a Renaissance era, like when they were doing like the ball gowns and the coachmen and the curtsying. I was like, ugh, not the vibe. So that's why I put this one down. Like I said, I'm a mood reader, but definitely will be one I'm excited to pick back up, and definitely one I think I really am gonna enjoy. And then another fantasy romance that's on the list is Lady of Ashes. It's the third in the what was the first one? Lady of Darkness series. So I read Lady of Darkness, Lady of Shadows in November. yeah, and then I started Lady of Ashes, and I was like, yo, you actually have to do some work. Like this, I don't know why I was so obsessed with this series. I honestly think it's because I didn't want to do my work. And the more work I have to do, the more books seem to be so much more enjoyable. I always rank books higher when I have something that I should have been doing instead versus just like in my actual free time. But anyways, I crushed the first 2 in the series. You'll hear about that in my November wrap up. And then I started the 3rd and I was like, no, you can't do this because it's like a 5 or 6 book series. I was like, no, you have to stop. You have to actually go and do school. So I went to school and then I was like, you can't continue with this series until like you finish your assignments. So instead of finishing my assignments or reading the series, I just picked up a new book. Because that gets around my own logic. Because why set rules for yourself when yourself will just go around it? But anyways, I am excited to get back into that one, but that's one I've read like maybe like 3 pages of, like very, very minimal. And those are also like chunky books. Like those are 500 or 600 pages somewhere in there. So that, again, one I'm excited to get into, but it's just like, oh, it's a lot of pages. Like even Belladonna, I think it's 400 pages. Like the pages are adding up. Maybe I'll do a page count at the end of this to see how many pages I have to get through this month, but oh god, the stress is coming in. Doesn't matter. We have cookies, we have Christmas. It's fine. And then to bridge the gap between kind of the fantasy romance genre and the YA genre, I'm going with Obsidian. No, it does not say Obsidian. It says Lux. So this is a collection. So it's the first 2 books in the Lux series. So I will not be reading this whole thing. I'll be reading half of it. So I'll be reading that much, okay? This much right here. Oh yeah, the oven's ready. It's another Jennifer L. Armentrout. So anyways, like I said, we love Jennifer L. Armentrout. Okay, she's one of the faves, and I pretty much just decided I'm gonna read anything she puts up. It's like a YA sci-fi romance, which I'm super pumped about because I'm ready for those 2 to mix. Yes, okay? I've realized I'm not into the alien romance. I can't do it. So I'm a little nervous about like adult sci-fi romance because that to me just means alien romance. And I don't really want that. But while I say that, this is an alien romance. Her next door neighbor is an alien. And then someone comes like hunting for him and somehow she gets caught in the middle. So somehow they're like stuck together, but it's like enemies to lovers or like something like that. Everything is enemies to lovers. That's really all I remember. Again, on that one, I'll check in a minute, but I think I'm also only like 3 pages in. And then I was like, oh, I am not ready for this high school angst. It has to be a mood, okay? It has to be a mood I'm in, unless it's December at the end of the year, and then I'm just gonna read it despite whatever mood. I don't care if I'm in the mood or not. I'm on page 15 of like, what did I say? It's only like 315, so that's not that bad, okay? This kind of is. Maybe actually a page count would make me feel better. Imagine that. We'll do that. We'll see how that goes. Now, we're just gonna wait for the cookies to cook. And also, I'm definitely gonna be late for this Christmas party. Wow. Who would have thought that talking about books while I try to take cookies makes everything so much longer? Did I not budget my time accordingly for this? I love cookie dough. Anyways, we're getting down to it. Okay, This Woven Kingdom. So that is actually a book I got off the library and my return just expired. So I'll just have to get it again. But that's fine, it's an ebook. And again, not when I was that far in on, like maybe 2 chapters. I don't even know if I got to the 2nd chapter. Reminds me of like Ottoman Empire vibes. So it's back in the day and there's like bazaars and you know, all the lingo, and there's jinns and everything. So she's this young girl and she has no family and no status, and that's like a big thing, especially like for the time. So she's trying to get jobs as like a scullery maid and everything, but she keeps having these instances where people think like she's a witch or she's evil because magic either does exist or used to exist in the country and now has been like completely vetoed. Like, you do magic, like you are evil. But there's this jinn, which is like a demon, but like a different like culture's version of like a demon, and we love when I get like different cultures' mythology. Oh, love it. Makes me excited. So you have your jinn, and he's like haunting her, but he's like the evilest of all evil jinns or something, or he's like the Satan of the jinns or something. He's like a big bad, and he appears, and whenever he appears, she knows something's bad is gonna happen. So she's just like trying to make do at this little like scullery maid thing, but she's trying not to use her powers because she doesn't want to out herself yet again and have to move yet again. And then he appears to her and she's like, no, 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 no. And then So I don't know what else to tell you yet, but I do know that I was interested. I was liking the writing, I was liking the character, I was liking where the story was going, being 2 chapters in. But I picked it up again for these vibes because I was traveling in that region, and I was like, oh my god, I can read these books while I travel and it'll be great. And then I just ended up writing essays and doing schoolwork instead, which was not the vibe. Because I had that to do, I didn't have time to read. And then I just simply ran out of time on my library. So that one I am very, very excited to get back into. Actually, most of these on the list, I'm kind of pumped because I'm excited for a lot of them, which is great because I thought I put most of these down because I was bored. But no, that was just like the beginning ones. My timer went off, but they're not ready, so now I feel like I'm on the clock for this one. Last-ish one on the list is Lifelike. I picked this up in February last year, and I was really excited for it, and I was really, really enjoying it. And I'm actually over halfway, 211 pages in. And I was really, really liking it. So it's a YA sci-fi, and think like Pacific Rim fighters, but also like iRobot in a sense. So the world used to be like normal, like how we think of it, like very capitalistic, very like big corp kind of thing. And there was a corporation that created robots that looked so much like humans. They were called Lifelikes. And anyways, this like empire fell, and now we're in like the aftermath of that. So we follow our girl, and she lives kind of like in the dregs of society again, that kind of like low-born criminal-esque vibes. One thing she does for money is she fights robots, but it's where they're like giant robots, and you sit in the robot and you like punch like with the arms of the robot. Anyways, that's the vibe of it. And then she does something, and I can't remember what, but it puts her on the run, and people are like trying to hunt her now, and she comes across this guy who is a lifelike when they're all supposed to be like abolished and they're evil and they kill people and you can't trust them and they've all been like wiped out. She comes across one, and now it's like them two and then her friend, I think, on the run trying to like uncover like her past and her identity, because somehow she's tied to this lifelike. Like the lifelike was looking for her and she doesn't know how or why. I didn't finish Lifelike with it in my hands, so picking up now. I remember there's this like giant whale and people live inside it, except they're not people. Whale workers. I don't know. That was just like a weird moment I remembered. But anyways, again, I was really enjoying this one, but at the time I was doing my capstone project for my undergrad. A ridiculous undertaking, but it was basically on science fiction. No, I'm not an English major, but I tried my very best to make my capstone somehow related to books so I could feel joy, and I did it. But because it was so focused on science fiction, and I chose like specific texts to work with, I didn't want to get anything like confused in my mind, and I didn't want to be like flip-flopping between these worlds. And I didn't want to like have this like critical political lens on the text I was doing for class and then come and try to like read this YA sci-fi for fun. So I put it down, being like, oh, I'll come back to it when this project is over. And then when the project was over, I was like, I don't want to look at sci-fi again. Which is why for like the rest of the year I didn't really read any sci-fi, I think. Because that was just like too much. But I'm kind of like transferring out of that, and I miss it. I want to go back. So that was another one that I'm very excited to read. And that's all of them. Kind of. Not really. So there's one more that makes it 13 that would actually clear my currently reading list. But that last one is A Day of Fallen Night, which is like 1,000 pages. And I'm not even being dramatic. Like, I think it's 900 and some pages. And my friends and I picked it up as a book club read. We were supposed to read like 100 pages a week or something like that. And I got 50 pages in, and I was so confused. And my friends were like, we can't do this. And we just kind of like put it down, thinking we were gonna pick it up later in the year when we had more time. And then none of us had any more time. But now I'm 50 pages into a 1,000-page book with 12 other books I have to finish before the end of the month. So I don't see myself finishing that one. I don't think on the whole this list is realistic, and I especially don't think that one is realistic. But if I don't finish that one, then there is still technically something on the list, and I don't love that. Because I would like to start the year clean, just no currently reading list. But I can't promise that one. If you don't know what A Day of Fall Night is, I guess I could give it a brief recap. I don't remember really anything about it. It is the prequel to Priory of the Orange Tree, which I've never read. But this is the prequel, and it's like set in China, think like dynasty era, and then you follow three perspectives. And I don't remember, or if I even knew at the time, if they're in the same like time, or if it's three characters existing at different points of time. I think it was different points of time because I think one ended up like being the mother, and then I'm trying to like imagine how they all like, there were so many names, just so many names. Yeah. Yeah. That is all I got for that one. So I don't see myself finishing that in December. I don't see that as like a book I could just like sit down and absolutely crush. But it is on the list, and that makes up the 13th of the list. But anyways, my cookies are almost done. I have 2 minutes left on the last batch, and then I actually have to go get dressed because I can't go to a Christmas party looking like this. But thanks for hanging out with me. This is my attempt at vlogmas, so I hope you got your Christmas vibes. I guess not because there was nothing like Christmassy in it, but this is my kitchen Christmas decoration. I painted him myself. He's a little nutcracker. He does do like the open and close thing, but with his beard you can't tell. But yeah, he's Christmas. Vlogmas. We did it. Yay. Anyways, the cookies are delicious. I hope our time was fun. But let me know down in the comments below, what are your December reading goals? Is there a book that you're like, I have to finish this before 2024? Oh my god, it's almost 2024, guys. I'm not ready. I'm not ready. But you know what? This was supposed to be chill. This is supposed to be chill. Look, vlogmas, cookies, books. That's what we're here for. Anyways, I got 23 seconds left, so don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. I post videos every Friday, sometimes on Tuesdays when I'm feeling it. No, I'm not going to do vlogmas every day of the month because I just cannot make that happen. But I will see you guys on the next one. Bye!